this, let's give our invitation, our pledge. Stand. Dear God, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to serve this city. Father, I pray that you be with us on city council, guide us and direct us in taking care of the city business. Lord, I pray your hand be upon our admin and all of our department heads and our workers. Thank you for their willingness to serve the community in this way. Father, we pray that you protect them when they're out in this heat. Lord, thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy as Americans. Thank you for the liberty provided by our Constitution. Father, we are grateful for all that we have. In Jesus Christ, your Son's name, amen. Tiffany, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And be seated. With that, Secretary, do you have any citizens to be heard?
I have 3 signed up, Mayor.
Okay. Citizens, you'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address and come to the podium.
The first up is Luciano Longoria.
Mr. Longoria.
Right here.
Welcome.
Hello,
State
my
your
name is
name and-
Luciano Longoria. I'm born and raised in Pearsall, lived here my whole life, 40 years. Live in 1006 East Pecos, got a family of 4 children, beautiful wife, nice home. And I'm here to request the opening of the road on Haynes Street. I believe it was closed in 2002, 2003, so we're going on 20 years with that road closed. From my understanding, I heard they got a grant to fix the road, hasn't got fixed. About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, there was a fire back there, and there was no way to get to that property. And I believe he was on call to be part of it. I spoke to him. The road has been closed forever. When I bought the land, I had aspects to put a house there, trailer home or whatever. I came in here various times. They told me I needed to get all these different kinds of forms. So I went ahead and did all that. They charged me $3,000 to plot and survey 1 acre so I can get the light and water. I came and turned all that in. Then they said I couldn't get the services because of the road. Everybody lives, I bought the middle property. People live in the corner of me and to the other corner of me. And I don't think it's fair that they used my right of way for power to get to everybody else, and then I can't get power to the property I bought in the middle. Everybody has water around me. There's a 2-inch water main there for sure. And I'm just trying to see what we can do to open it. I know back then they had closed it because of looting and stuff like that. But I believe that that problem is solved now because there's more people living there and there's more eyes out there that can see what's going on. Back then it was open when I was in high school and we would just go mess around back there or whatever. Got left alone, nobody did anything with it. And I bought 5 acres there. I bought a bulldozer, I remodeled 2 trailer houses to put on there. I'm over like $70,000, $80,000 of personal money. Just to get shut down, a road that should be open. If you go to the city hall and you go look at the plot and the deed or whatever it's called, that road shows that it's open, never been closed. For what reason, I do not know, but I'm asking if y'all could please help me try to open it or we can figure out something to get access to the property. I believe that in Texas, if there is an access there, you cannot be landlocked. And I do not want to get attorney involved, but I do have some money saved and I will get an attorney. And that's my last call before I try to do something that, I really don't want to waste money on an attorney if the road's supposed to be open in the beginning, you know what I mean? And I've had that property for 2 years. I know they gave my neighbors kind of a hard time to build their house too back there and stuff like that. For some reason, they said it's a flood zone. I never seen a flood out there. My grandpa farmed out there many years. Never have seen a flood more than, 6 inches or something like that, and I just feel that it would be awesome to try to open it because I guess we're all a city of Pearsall to proceed in progress, you know what I mean? And I feel that if I do open that road, I could have an opportunity to maybe build like a subdivision back there or something, and I'm just trying to get it. I did a lot of work out there on my own, you know what I mean? And it's kind of hard to tell your wife and your children, hey man, I bought a dozer, I bought this land, I put money in this trailer house, and to see it come back, and I'm just trying to see what help I can get and if that's help something can be done,
Okay, Mr. Longoria, over 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, Secretary?
Next is Eduardo Sanchez.
I was with the chamber.
Okay,
Just asked.
gotcha. And next is Mr. Carlos Colina Vargas. Okay.
Okay. Both those did not intend to speak. All right, very good. With that, we're gonna go on to our mayor's message, and as we did last time on our regular meeting, I'm gonna go ahead and ask the department heads to give us a quick report. I'm gonna bring that to the front of the meeting, so we can go over that. I think you have a handout, James, I'm gonna ask you to. Yeah. City Secretary, for the record, Mr. Hernandez, Councilwoman Hernandez came in at 6:04.
Yes, sir. I have it marked.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. So I dropped some handouts in front of y'all for the current budget actuals. So currently in the general fund, we're at about 86% of what we budgeted. So that's where we're functioning. And the expenditures for the general fund, we're about at 58%. And for the Fund 35, the revenues are about 65% of what was budgeted, and the expenditures are about 53%. Between both funds, the revenues are up at about 75%, and both expenditures are about 55%. And on the third sheet I gave y'all, it's the remaining debt service payments that we have left for the year. So, of course, we got the budget and expenditures, and then we have some debt services that we still owe on throughout the year.
Council, and again, in our desire to kind of stay abreast on where our financial position is, this shows our two funds, our general fund and then our utilities fund. And really, the main thing that I like to look at is the year-to-date column, which is 4 columns over. And again, it reflects revenues. Of course, general funds come in primarily from taxes, so they're loaded up on the front end. But we're at, just so that you know, we're at 66% of the year, and expenses are running a little bit light, so that leaves us with a pretty favorable position there for the year-to-date on our general fund. And likewise with our utility fund, so reflects again good management from the financial department and from our city manager, keeping expenses down, and looks like revenues kind of right where we projected it to be. So, and again, I wanted you guys to get an idea where we are. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, James, we're about 12 million on total debt, total outstanding. That's where we are. On total outstanding debt. I believe that's right, but you can see the payments we've got to make on that debt service, so wanted that to be fresh on those ones. Is there any questions that you guys have for our financial director?
And then, again, this is just through May 31st. So we just closed out May, we're going out June. So these actuals are through May, not through July or as of today.
Anything? All right. Thank you, James. Hector?
Good evening. Let's see, not much to report here aside from routine maintenance. I'll just touch on some key points here. We did have 2 water tabs. We gained 2 more accounts on the water side. We had 5 major water leaks. I don't know if y'all experienced some water pressure issues middle of the month, but we had some pretty significant water leaks. We had 4 major gas leaks. No gas taps for this month. A few sewer backups, but aside from that, everything's in there. I do want to point out at the very last page of your packet on this staff report packet, there is an executive closing that I just wanted to share that with y'all because this is very important to the gas department. They're doing rather well. The gas is gaining some ground here. We had an audit and we scored really well. This is the second of 3, I think, inspections that we're gonna have for the remainder of this year, calendar year. And this is probably one of the most important ones, and they scored dang near 100. You know, they had no violations whatsoever, no leaks, no alleged violations. Everything went pretty smooth on this, and so kudos to the gas department. Other than that, I mean, the rest is all in there. I mean, I could hear all night. I'll try to go down everything we did.
Just big ticket stuff, Hector, water wells?
The water wells, they're doing well. We do have some booster issues. it was evident last night, we had one looser go down, but we were able to repair it this morning by mid-morning, so we're back online at 100%. Every water well is functioning like it's supposed to, and every water plant is functioning like it's supposed to. So we should have pressure back up, restored soon. You know, if it's not there yet, it should be within the hour, so we should be all right.
What areas were this, Hector, what areas were this affected?
The east plant was the one having issues, so it circles around, so it would go towards, from Mesquite towards Marble Drive, back to the power plant, back down. It makes its way back to the Cherry plant.
Yeah, those are the two phone calls that I received.
Yeah.
And, the street is.
Oh, yes. And tomorrow, we'll be starting the East Carter Improvement, project, so we'll be out there by 7 a.m. tomorrow, and, we should be there about 2 weeks, repairing that road. So that starts tomorrow. And the intersections of South Oak and Pecan will be completely blocked off, and Walnut and, Ash will be completely inaccessible.
Can you take before and after?
We usually do, yes. Joe Novata was really good about that, so, yeah. We'll
I
have
have
some
two
before and
questions,
after.
Mr. Gavo. One, I know we were worried about, our citizens and the amount of water they were consuming. Has that gotten better?
It's gotten better, not by much, but it has gotten better. We are expecting another heat wave though next week.
That's fine.
And so I believe the consumption was pretty high, but we dropped, I believe my water plant operator told me about 350,000 gallons less this month than last month. So
And my next question is, I see her, working on the lights down in the main oak, the painting lights. Is that gonna happen? Do you know when that's gonna be completed? By I can't think, by McDonald's.
Oh, that's a textile. That's a textile.
Did they tell us at all, like, when they would?
No,
finish
they have a projected date of sometime next month is all we know.
that? Okay.
Other than that, we don't know anything yet. Textile will file a report with us after it's completed.
After it's done. Okay.
Good question.
Anybody else? Very good, thank you, Proctor. Judge, give us your report.
Basically from the last time, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the council. We have moved forward in closing out some more citations through the gathering of the jail log roster, which indicates that there are people there that owed the city fines from several years ago. And I found it kind of easy and convenient for us to go to them instead of having them send a letter and request jail time credit. So I can catch them right there while they're incarcerated, another offense, and offer them jail time credit in order to close these fines. And jackets have been pretty much sitting in a closet in limbo, you know, for the better part of anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Done that, we've also moved forward with the pre-arrest hearings, which resulted in 53 new CAPIS warrants that I'll probably have to meet with the mayor and the city manager regarding which route they want to go. They want to just release them and have the officers do a warrant roundup and pick up these people, or they want to do a notification, public notification on the city website, just to encourage the people to come in and take care of their pending fines. Because, yes ma'am?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had a question on that. That would alleviate some of these people getting arrested, going to jail, you know, having their cars impounded, adding extra fees, which in a sense, we took a route where it just ends up costing the citizen an additional $50 for the warrants that we issue. You know, the other way, it would probably create another whole offense of anywhere from $250 to $300, which we'd be back to square one. You know, some of these people can't afford to pay in the first place, so we're just trying to encourage them to come in and take care of, you know, what they owe so far as fines that are pending. But,
Judge, can you give us an idea how many cases you've been able to clear so far by that time served?
oh, God, about I guess about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I managed to clear about 100, a little over 100 cases that had just been sitting there, you know.
Any other stuff, council, warrant roundup is a topic of discussion. I think we get, of course, with the county and ensure that jail situation is applicable for that, but we're gonna be working on these that are not responding in a short period of time.
But I've also talked to the captain at the jail, and in fact, this morning, which again, I was gonna try to set up a meeting with the mayor and the city manager, so they can either accommodate a handful at a time, and have them sit there till that fine is paid off in jail time, or they can sit there till they get the funds taken down there to the jail, kind of like it was back in the day when it was open 24/7. You know, if you owed $350, you sat in jail till that fine was paid, or somebody brought that money and paid, and then you were released. So it's a small step in the right direction. You know, like I said, it's better to keep moving forward at a slow pace than to just sit there and be stale. But those are the two new little projects I've been working on with the clerk and the jail, and of course Bobby through back doors, and the prosecutor to try to get more done through the courts.
Council, do you have anything else for me, Councilman Chirino?
Judge, I don't have a question on the warrant, but I do have a question for you and Fred. Give me an update on the city ordinance and the code compliance. I'm looking at the report here on the city ordinance. What's the status on code compliance? Where this?
Right now, they're, as far as compliance, what we want is just as code is compliance. There hasn't been, if you look at that, there hasn't been a lot of warnings, a lot of citations. There are warnings that have been issued. Warnings, and I'll give you a copy of all, well, not a copy, but I'll give you an idea of how many warnings. The idea behind that is to get compliance. There has been some compliance, but I think in saying that, we are gonna start issuing more citations.
Yeah, and I see that as an importance, because if we're gonna be enforcing these ordinances, so we need to do our part. And we need to start issuing it where it needs to be issued, with no hesitation and moving forward. And that's gonna clear a lot what's out there in the community. It's something that we need to catch, municipal needs to be involved in that, on it, so we can be up to date.
Very good.
Would you like to make a
Yes, sir.
comment for that, Mayor?
Yes.
Also,
Councilwoman Hernandez?
as Councilman Trevino is right about enforcing these, compliances and stuff, but we also, as council members, we need to understand that when we get those phone calls, we need to get them directed to the city, because that is not, our part to make those decisions, because people need to follow these rules and regulations and be in compliance with what's out there.
If I may further it a little bit, I was talking to the city manager the other day in regards to a lot of the city ordinance. We're all on the same page about getting compliance, because if we continue going that route, I mean, we're clearing up old cases, 6, 7, 8 years ago, that the same lot, the same owner had, and it actually went to district court, but because for whatever reason, whether a change of city council, management, whatever, it just sat there, and then come to find out the district court judge just went ahead and dismissed it. So, it's a rabbit hole you gotta be very careful, because you'll go and incur additional expenses, if you start going cleaning up those people's lots and homes that need to be demolished because they're dilapidated. That's why we'd rather try to get compliance from the citizens rather than to go in there and take drastic measures, because it incurs another added fee. You got manpower, equipment, so forth and so on. Not to mention, hey, fine amounts every time they get cited. They decide to go, beyond that.
Okay, thank you. Judge, any other questions, Council? Thank you, Judge. And on that line, very good statements, guys. And shortly, want to welcome our county judge here with us this evening. We have been talking about very soon holding kind of a judicial workshop with district attorneys, county attorneys, city attorney, our legislators, our prosecutors, police chief, sheriffs, city manager, myself, to talk about just those issues, how we can all work together to really get the best bang for the buck as far as, making our code enforcement work, law enforcement work, and those that are kind of